Hello, this is the RPG Crawler with another Indie Game Friday, the show where I take a look at independent role-playing games. This will be the last Indie Game Friday until next year, barring any specials I decide to do. I may do one or two of those, depending on some really exciting releases, but overall, I'm just going to take this time to retool my format a little bit and get a few more games in the queue, similar to what I did between the first year and the second year. Also, expect a few more indie first looks between now and then, for games that aren't quite ready for prime time, but still might be worth taking a gander at. For now, however, let's take a look at a game that I've been meaning to cover for a while now, Halcyon 6, Starbase Commander. Available on Steam and GOG.com, Halcyon 6, Starbase Commander was released on September 9th, 2016. Developed and published by Massive Damage Inc., Halcyon 6 is currently being sold for $19.99 US. Halcyon 6 Starbase Commander is a bit of a mix between a roguelike, a strategy and management game, and a role-playing game. It starts out with a reveal that a grand civilization with multiple factions has uncovered a mysterious space station. The player is in charge of rebuilding it when they receive an emergency request to send the fleet back to the core, where they are ambushed and destroyed by a series of mysterious alien ships. This leaves only the people on board the starbase to rebuild and find out what happened. The game takes place in a randomized universe, with various systems randomly placed along the galaxy map. During play, there are several types of play. There is system exploration, space and ground combat, system management, starbase management, research, and shipbuilding. As the game proceeds, you train officers which are selected from a series of classes, assign those officers to ships that you build at the starbase, and then assemble them into fleets to head out into space and explore. From a strategic point of view, your ships collect resources from various systems, including fuel, crew, materials, dark matter, and energy. Fuel is used to move your fleet around, while the others are used to construct fleets, improve rooms in the space station, improve individual systems, and research new technology. Basically everything you'd expect of resources in a strategy game. Gathering resources needs to be done by hand at first, collecting them via fleets and taking them back to the starbase. But you can unlock automated systems that gather resources for you. As play proceeds, you need to defend the various systems from other factions, as well as the random attacks of the creatures that wiped out the initial fleet. Improving the station involves clearing ruined rooms and then building new rooms in the cleared space. Each room has its own purpose, with some enabling certain actions and others building up resources or allowing for certain resources to be multiplied. Combat takes place either on the ground when you're clearing planets or engaging random events, or in space between fleets. Either way, the process is fairly similar, with the differences mostly depending on what certain effects are called. The combatants are arrayed in an initiative order, with each character's turn coming up. They can choose between several actions. Each attack has a chance to hit and may do a certain amount of damage, but most of them also have secondary effects. Each target has a certain resistance to each type of effect, with some types of targets being vulnerable to certain effects instead. This information can be found easily by right-clicking on the target, so it's reasonably easy to use this strategically. Further, certain types of attacks can result in combos when they exploit an existing effect. For instance, if you hack and slash a creature and laid a bleed effect on it, another character can then attack that target with something that exploits bleed effects for the chance of doing additional damage. Attack order is also complicated by the need for certain abilities to warm up before use or to cool down afterward. This all combines for a relatively complex system that requires a bit of forethought to make maximum effective. As you play, random events do occur, both on various systems and in your base as you work, which can result in sometimes risky opportunities, as well as potential combats. It ends up being not that different from the random events in other roguelikes, especially FTL, another roguelike space game. In truth, this randomized event structure lends a lot of play variation to the game and replay value, but also means that, like other roguelikes, it can be really beholden to the RNG gods. The RPG element comes into play as you improve the officers that you recruit. They gain experience as they perform actions and win combats, and as they level up, the officers gain access to additional traits based on their class. Furthermore, you can assign trait points into various attack forms, both for ground and space combat. Occasionally, during combats and other events, you can get certain cadet advancements. Basically, one of your red shirts advances and provides a minor benefit after that. Graphically, the game has the retro stylings that are so popular these days, with roughly Super NES-era graphics. They are well done, however, nice to look at without being too low-res. The music is really nice, and you can actually get the soundtrack as an additional purchase. I'm not sure it's worth it personally, but it's always nice to have that option. I have to be honest, there's some subsystems that I didn't quite get to in the hour and a half or so that I played. There's some customization options for ships now, things that let you fine-tune your fleet, and I'm sure that there's other aspects that come into play as you interact with more factions. So, this game has been received very positively, and although I'm a little bit late to the party, so to speak, I can see why. I'm not sure it's RPG-ish enough to really qualify as a proper RPG instead of as a strategy game, but it's definitely got more RPG elements than some of the stuff I've covered, and it was really, really fun. Or at least, I found it really fun. Your mileage may vary depending on how well you like these space strategy games and your personal tolerance for random number generators. And I think on that note, I'm going to leave it at that. Links will be below as always. I hope that you've enjoyed the series thus far, and I look forward to starting Season 3 early next year. I'm still finalizing the format, but it's going to be very similar to what you've seen here in this past year, just with a few tweaks. In the meantime, I'll float a few first look and perhaps some informal first impression things between now and then, so you've got, some content to look at in addition to the usual flood of things that I do. Remember, if you like what you've seen, leave a like, comment if you've got feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.